And we are back with more ROX content, and this time we're going to talk about shadow equipments. So, if you have no idea what shadow equipments are, or if you have yet to awaken your own shadow equipment, stick around because there are a lot of essential points you might want to consider regarding your shadow equipment materials and your shadow equipment skills. So, stay tuned. All right, first things first. What is shadow equipment? Shadow equipment is a guild related weapon enhancement system in Ragnarok X that allows you to add game changing passive and active skills to your weapon of choice. It becomes available when your character reaches level 35, at which you are provided a quest. This quest takes place in a guild territory, so you must be part of a guild for you to finish this quest. You will be asked to awaken one weapon of your choice in the quest, depending on your job class. After that, you will be able to access your shadow equipment from your in-game menu without having to visit your guild territory. Awakening is very straightforward. You will be provided with a list of quests. Completing 16 of these quests will awaken your shadow equipment of choice. Just make sure to pick the same weapon type that your character is using because awakening only takes effect when your character uses a weapon of the same kind. As every job can choose between 2 or 3 weapons, the same applies to your shadow equipment. You can choose to awaken all of your shadow equipment, but you can only awaken one weapon at a time. If you want to switch to a different weapon awakening, you can choose to abandon the current one by pressing give up, but bear in mind that any recent progress will be lost and will not carry over to your next weapon of choice. Upon awakening your shadow equipment, you will have the ability to increase the level of your shadow equipment and its divine skills. There are a total of 32 skills grouped as inscription, pioneer, bound, engraved, validation, contract, and soul skills. Inscription and pioneer skills are passive skills, while the rest are all active skills. Each of these skills has its levels, and their availability depends on the current level of your shadow equipment. The higher the level of your shadow equipment, the more skills you can have access to, and the best skills will only be available at higher shadow equipment levels. Increasing shadow equipment levels require their corresponding shadow materials, along with a hefty cost of zeni and guild contributions. Shadow materials can be acquired by smelting white quality items at the refinement NPC, along with soul stones obtained by mining through levels 4, 6, and level 7 or veins. At higher levels, your shadow equipment will require higher tier shadow materials. If you can find these shadow materials at the refinement NPC, one option is to synthesize lower tier shadow materials to produce higher ones and vice versa. Of course, you can also buy all of these off the exchange market if you have spare crystals. The one thing though that you cannot purchase is guild contributions, so make sure you are highly active with all of your guild events. One more thing you need to know is that increasing your shadow equipment levels has increasing failure rates, which means the higher your current shadow equipment level, the more likely it's going to fail. The same logic applies to your shadow equipment skill levels as well. Moving on to the skills, one thing to note is that the materials you need to increase the levels of these skills will be the same for every group. For example, inscription skills require inscription 1 and 2, while pioneer skills require pioneer 1 and 2, along with the usual Zenny and guild contributions. These items can be acquired from KVM loot boxes as a reward for participating in guild KVM events. So be sure to participate in these events as actively as you can. Like I said earlier, inscription and pioneer skills are passive skills, which provide better stats for your character, and these skills will be different for each shadow weapon type. On the other hand, bound, engraved, and validation skills are the active skills that add more value to your existing job skills. However, you need to be careful on which of these skills you want to spend resources on for 3 reasons. Number 1, each of these active skills has a better, more powerful version that becomes available on higher shadow equipment levels. Number 2, there are no resets, which means whatever resources you spend on lower tier skills can never be regained. And number 3, you can only equip one active skill at a time from each group. So it would be best to spend your resources on the skills that you are most likely to use. Bound, engraved, and validation skills require materials that can be gotten from your guild's otherworldly gate events, along with the NPC smelting shadow materials. Moving on to the next, we have contract skills. Still, unfortunately, this is unavailable in the current version of the game, so I don't have any information on what it is or when it will become available. Lastly, we have soul skills. Soul skills are also active skills that adds insane value to your existing job skills, particularly transcendent skills. And similar to bound, engraved, and validation, you are only allowed to equip one skill at a time. However, the skills in this group does not have higher or lower tier versions. You have the option to pick 1 out of 4 unique skill modifiers based on your current job. The shadow equipment level requirement for these skills are level 7 and 8, but you can temporarily enable these skills regardless of your shadow equipment level by consuming soul shadow materials. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any information as to where or how these items can be acquired at the moment, but I'm guessing it will still probably be guild related. Now, before we wrap up this video, let's do a quick recap on the important points that I have raised regarding shadow equipments. First, guild events are the key components to increasing the levels of both your shadow equipment and its skills. So make sure to actively participate in all of your guild-related events to get those materials. Second, prioritize shadow equipment levels so you can have access to better skills. And third, there are no resets, so spend your resources wisely. It might be better for you to hold off on increasing your early skill levels until you have access to better ones. And that's it for this video. I hope you guys find it useful. Again, if you have any additional information or if you have any questions regarding shadow equipments, please don't hesitate to leave a comment and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you can get up to date with all of our future ROX content, alright? Likewise, if you're watching this on Facebook, make sure to follow my gaming page so you can get notified every time I go live. I do live streams Mondays through Saturdays at around 5 p.m. Manila time, so make sure to drop by and I'll see you guys in the next video.